One of the strange things about the Greenland case is that it's an island the size of Saudi Arabia, but its population is less than that of a single neighborhood in one of the Arab cities. And the European force that protects it doesn't exceed the number of guards at the presidential palace of Arab leaders. Nevertheless, Europeans today say they are capable of defending this island, capable of preventing Russia from reaching this island. Is that true? Will America really succeed in annexing this island? Where have the negotiations reached today? What are the most likely scenarios? Today? We have very important details today about this issue, the Greenland island issue. Stay with us. Dear viewers, peace be upon you and God's mercy and blessings, and welcome to our renewed meeting today, God willing, in this week's series of opinion episodes. Dear viewers, there was a meeting that brought together the Danish Foreign Minister and the Greenlandic Foreign Minister with the United States Secretary of State Marco Rubio and with United States Vice President Trump J. Defense. This meeting, which was of course about today's prominent incident, the island of Greenland, was mainly aimed at reaching a solution regarding the future of Greenland, a solution that would satisfy all these parties. The meeting lasted for about an hour and a half, but without any result, because it's clear now after this meeting that the conflict is growing, getting bigger day by day, and it will have a very significant impact on the region. The Prime Minister of Denmark made a statement after this meeting, saying that the meeting was very difficult. This indicates that Denmark is determined not to give up even an inch of this island. And this also confirms that Denmark is suffering greatly today over this issue. They have very big concerns about Trump's next move. The Prime Minister of Denmark thanked the Foreign Minister of Greenland's local government. Why did she thank her? She said it was because she stood as a strong barrier against all American claims. And she said that this matter is very important for Denmark, because the dangerous thing that would have made it easier for America to annex Greenland was if the local government of Greenland agreed to it. That means at that point, everyone would have to accept the reality. Denmark would have no choice but to surrender and quietly withdraw. But the observation up to this point is that the local government of Greenland absolutely refuses any control from America. This has brought a lot of relief to Denmark and also to the Europeans, because it has given them, in a way, a kind of leverage in negotiations with America. It made them, at the very least, confront Trump and tell him that the people refuse to join America. So this created a kind of relief for Denmark and the European Union, the major countries in the European Union. These countries that spoke out strongly support Denmark's position. Even more than that. This made them warn that any forceful control over Greenland would be considered the end of NATO, meaning at that point NATO would be finished. That's it, it's over. So after the end of this meeting with the Americans, there was a statement from Greenland's foreign minister, a somewhat strange statement. Why? Because she gave the statement while she was crying? This situation is really tough. This minister said that the past few days have been very difficult. She said there was a lot of pressure put on her. She was saying this while she was crying. And she said that her ministry today is making every effort just to ensure the safety of the residents. The situation in Greenland is getting harder every day. No one knows exactly what Greenland's fate will be. Trump is determined to annex this island, and he says it openly. If America doesn't control this island, China or Russia will. And that's true. This is true, because in times of war, this island will be a real target for these countries. It will also be easy to control by Russian forces and by Chinese forces. The island is very vast, exactly the size of Saudi Arabia, and there are only about 5,000 Danish soldiers on it. So how can this number, 5,000 soldiers, protect a country of this size? An area exceeding 2 million square kilometers. So logically, if the big war starts between Russia and Europe, the first thing the Russians will do is occupy this island, because of its very important strategic location. This is exactly the danger that Trump sees. Above all, he wants to take control of it before the big war starts, which is getting dangerously close these days. What's odd today, dear viewers, isn't just strange, it's honestly funny. At the same time, the European Union countries said they would send forces to strengthen their presence on Greenland Island. They said they would launch regular exercises this week on the surface of this island and would send forces for that purpose. Alright, that's good, but what are these forces like? How many troops are there? I mean, pay close attention to these numbers here. Germany, which said it would lead the European forces in Greenland, how many did it send? It sent a military team consisting of 13 people. France as well, which claims to be the great power in Europe, sent a military team of 15 people. Sweden sent 3 officers. Norway and Finland sent 2 officers each. The Netherlands and Britain sent 1 officer each. So we're talking about a European force made up of 30 or 40 soldiers. Will these people be able to protect this island that's the size of Saudi Arabia? Will these people be able to repel any possible aggression from China or Russia? And what's strange is that they say these forces were not sent for China or Russia, but to confront any American military action. So, are they trying to save Greenland from United States control with this plan? Annexation to America? Can they confront the United States? Are these the ones who will prevent America from taking control of this island? The island needs enormous power, and above all, it needs icebreakers. The European Union, all the countries of the European Union combined, have less than 10 icebreakers. I mean, if we're talking about the Russian fleet, which has more than 85 icebreakers currently deployed in the Eastern Pole, the entire European fleet has only 10 icebreakers. The island also needs submarines capable of diving in the frozen pole. Not all submarines are able to dive in the Arctic, and Europe does not have these submarines. Meanwhile, Russia has more than 30 submarines in this region. So the Arctic region is purely a Russian area. There is no one who can confront Russia at all. Russia has a very great presence in this region. From vehicles, military bases, missile launch platforms, infrastructure, and so on. Meanwhile, Europe can't even muster military forces capable of deploying in extremely cold regions. There is very harsh terrain. No country in the world can withstand this harshness except Russia, not even America. America faced major problems in Greenland. There is an American military base in Greenland, with about 200 American soldiers stationed there, but this number of soldiers is only there to operate the early warning radars. And observation platforms, meaning space monitoring, and so on, nothing else. For decades, America has not been able to develop its military capabilities on this island. Why? Because the weather conditions are very harsh today, just so everyone knows. Even the American F-35 planes stationed in Alaska. They spend most of the year, throughout the whole year, most of that time in warm hangars because of the harsh climate. Without these warm hangars, you wouldn't be able to operate them. It works. Today in Greenland, no one can stay in the darkness of night for 3 consecutive months, knowing that this is an American military base in Greenland. It overlooks Canada, not Russia. It overlooks Canada. It is about 1,200 kilometers away from the Arctic. But when we talk about Russia, Russia has its own. More than 35,000 soldiers specialized for the Arctic. 35,000 soldiers specialized for the Arctic who are able to operate in the harshest weather conditions. This army is not just an army in name only. It is equipped with more than 150 polar ships and submarines and hundreds of aircraft and attack helicopters. This is not to mention the Orishnik missiles, the Orishnik hypersonic missiles that are capable of operating in extremely harsh weather conditions. They run on fuel and do not freeze. There is no room for comparison here. Europe is completely incapable in terms of defense. Greenland has no capabilities at all, no military, no logistics, and no manpower. Therefore, this is what makes America move today to annex the island before it falls into Russian hands. Because there are great riches, there are rare resources on this island. There are future transportation routes and passages in this region that China is already beginning to rely on. That's why America won't allow the situation to remain like this until the time of the big war comes. And all these economic and strategic assets will become a target for the Russians and the Chinese. The question being asked today is, how can America annex Greenland? I mean, in the face of this European stubbornness. How can Greenland be annexed? In the face of the absolute rejection as well by the people of Greenland living there, their number today is about 57,000 people. Can America use military force and invade the island by force? Some people, when they look at the Venezuela operation, think it's easy, that America will carry out a military invasion of Greenland. Despite the seriousness of this scenario, it is not unlikely. With Trump as America's president, anything is possible today. It's somewhat unlikely because if this scenario happens, it's different from Venezuela. If this scenario happens, there will be a huge damage to America's image. On a global level, there will be huge damage to the image of America, which leads NATO. Because it's serious, at that point America would be invading the territory of a NATO member state. This would mean, as a strong signal, that there is no trust in America, even if you are its ally. All countries will not trust America in the future. All countries will say what America did to Denmark, it will also do to them. That's why I think we will be facing two paths that we will see in the coming days. The first path, or we could say the first scenario, is the continuation of American pressure along with negotiations to buy the island. That means the American goal will be to buy the island with money. America will continue to pressure the Greenland government and the Europeans as well throughout the coming weeks, until an agreement is reached on the price for selling Greenland to America. And this is just like when America previously bought the lands of Alaska, just like it previously bought the state of Louisiana, and just like it also previously bought the Virgin Islands and also Ireland. So America has a lot of experience in buying countries and lands, and now the negotiation will be about the selling price. The strange thing is that although Greenland's population does not exceed 57,000 people, its gross domestic product exceeds $4 million. And today, the island is rich in natural resources. No one knows exactly how much wealth there is, because the country is completely covered in ice. It would take many years of exploration in extremely harsh weather conditions. That's why some American newspapers said that Trump could buy this island for only $70 billion. The American network Munhua Broadcasting Corporation News said that the appropriate price for the island is $700 billion, but a British newspaper said that the real value of the island reaches $1,100 billion. So the negotiation and pressure will be about the price of this island. This is the best solution for Trump, but the Europeans refuse that. Denmark also rejects this process, because the event will be recorded in all history books as the Europeans selling an island with its inhabitants. America might consider this human trafficking, I think, selling land with its inhabitants without any regard for the owners of this land. So there is also a second scenario, another solution on the table, which is to continue the pressure along with an agreement on Greenland's independence. Instead of buying Greenland with money, there will be pressure that will eventually lead to a referendum on self-determination. The compromise solution is a referendum on self-determination. In this referendum, there will be a vote on Greenland's independence, and America will be the first country in the world to recognize Greenland as an independent state. At that time, a series of agreements will be signed between America and the state of Greenland. Security, military, economic agreements, and so on. America will get everything in Greenland, as if it has taken control of Greenland, as if it has annexed Greenland to America, resources, surveillance and control methods, and so on. This will be in exchange for percentage-based taxes, or percentages in return for subsidies that America will also provide to the people of Greenland. If Denmark is currently giving Greenland an annual financial aid of 520 million euros, America could give $1 billion, for example, as annual financial aid. In return for this, if Denmark gives the people of Greenland about 9,000 euros annually as a subsidy, America says today that it is ready to pay 100,000 euros per person in a single payment, meaning just once, which means allocating more than 7 billion euros as support for Greenland's independence from Denmark. Therefore, the people would be guaranteed a higher level of support, a one-time amount higher than what Denmark offers. At the same time, they achieve the dream of independence by becoming an independent country. This dream is completely impossible without American support. So now, America will not use military force to take control of Greenland at all, even though it is on the table. But it will not use that. Instead, it will put more pressure to achieve its goals. One of these ways is to buy Greenland at a price agreed upon with Denmark, or to support Greenland's separation from Denmark. All the negotiations will be exactly about these points. The secret now, as I mentioned in a previous episode, the secret now is in the hands of Trump's personal envoy, Jeff Landry. Now all that's left is for me to ask you, in your opinion, how will the results of these negotiations turn out? Reply in the comments below. Subscribe and hit the like button. Peace be upon you and God's mercy and blessings. See you next time.